What's going on, everybody? It's your boy One Take One coming at you with another review how to don't do. Thanks for joining in, really appreciate it. So this is going to be more of an informational video. First of all, my parents were very nice to surprise me with this model of a Ducati V4R. So I'd like to thank my mom and dad for making this possible. All right, so what we're going to do is talk about trail braking. So trail braking is a great tactic to use or a great skill to develop while you're riding your motorcycle. However, it's used primarily on the track rather than on the street. The concept of trail braking is not using the rear brake, which is what many people think it is, but pretty much using the front brake and trailing off the brake as you go into the turn. So the more you lean the bike, the more you want to lay off your front brake. So by the time you're at the apex of the turn, you're able to see through the end of the curve or the corner and start to straighten your bike up, and then apply more acceleration to exit the corner quicker. Trail braking also will help you tighten up your turns. And so, for example, and you want to watch the front forks. Let's say you're riding, you hit the front brake, and so it compresses your suspension in the front. This is going to shorten the wheelbase. So without it compressed, the wheel's out here. When it's compressed, it moves the wheel back, shortening your wheelbase, hence enabling you to make a tighter turn. Now, the reason why this may not be a good concept to use on the road is because the road is not always flat. The surface can have potholes, can have cracks, can have like bumps in it. And so if you are compressing your front brake and you're going into a turn, and then as you're leaning over more, you're releasing more of the front brake so as to let the suspension go back to its normal positioning. If you are on the street and you're in a turn and you hit a pothole or anything, that compression is going to automatically decompress, causing your suspension to go back to its normal space, causing bump and bounce, and in many cases can cause you to lose control of your bike and unfortunately wind up in a loss. On the track, the surface is fairly smooth and flat, and so when you're coming into a turn, you're on the brakes, and then you're starting to dip in, and as you're dipping in, you're letting the brake out more and more. And then the more you dip in, the quicker you dip in, the more and quicker you're going to want to release the front brake. So, but on a track, it's flat and smooth. And so you really have a minimal worry or concern for there being any conditions in the pavement that would cause the bike to all of a sudden just allow the front wheel to decompress. And it'll stay compressed with regard to you letting off the front brake. Another aspect that I've learned is that on the road, I mean, in order to trail brake correctly on the road, you need to be going at a really, really fast pace. So you're coming into a turn or a corner or a curve really hot, you want a late brake, and so you're braking and you're dipping it in, and then you're letting it out as you're going through. A lot of times I'm just letting off the gas and letting the engine braking slow me down, or I may apply the rear brake just to slow down a bit, but I'm not, as you've seen from some of my videos, I'm probably not traveling at the speed on the street that would warrant trail braking. But I did want to bring this to, make a video of this, because this has been something, whenever there's a skill out there, I like to learn it and research it. And so this is what I have found through all my research and everything, and the reason why a lot of people do not trail brake on the on the street, but you do see it quite frequently on tracks, is just due to the pavement. You could be coming around, you're coming into a corner real hot, you late brake, so it compresses the forks, and then you dip it in, and as you dip it in, you're letting the brake off, but then you hit a bump, pothole, a crack in the pavement, and while you have the brakes applied, your bike kind of jumps and it causes the front wheel to fully decompress. And so you've gone from having the short wheelbase with the compression to having a very long, unstable wheelbase with no compression. Think of it as well, when you are going to the turn, you're on the brakes, your bike is compressed. So your bike wants to shorten the wheelbase so you can make a tight turn. When you're going full on in a straight line, you're applying the gas for acceleration. Your bike is in a straight line, stable, because you're in a straight line with the wheel fully extended. I don't know if you play any sports, but I grew up playing hockey, and if you ever watch the hockey players, they're not making real tight turns with their skates real wide apart. They're making real tight turns with their skates very close together. And then when they're in a full-on sprint down the ice, their strides are much longer apart. Similar to basketball, you have to, if you're shuffling, your feet are very close together. Are you making the turn? If you're running full out, your strides are much longer. So hopefully this has helped you with determining if you are looking at trail braking, help you gain some method to the madness. Definitely, if you are going to learn it, go to a parking lot or somewhere with not a lot of obstacles or traffic where you can practice it. And then again, something also similar is think about driving a car. When you're going around a turn in a car and you're going a little too fast, you need to tighten up your turn, you apply your brakes. Now, the caveat is that a car has 2 additional wheels. So if you apply too much brake, the car is just going to slow, or if you come to a stop, it's just going to stop. With your bike, if anything happens where you have to all of a sudden apply, or you wind up applying too much brake and that front end locks up on you, you are most likely going to fall over. The bike is not just going to come to a stop and then to sit there. So that's something else to caution. On a track, you have a lot of runoffs, and so you can just, if anything happens, just, you're in the turn, get some danger up ahead, you just stand it up straight and go off into the runoff. On a street, might have a curb, might have a sandy shoulder, you might have rocks on the side. So it's, the street is definitely much more of a challenge when practicing this technique. But again, hope it adds some method to the madness, brought some knowledge to you. Again, thanks for tuning in. It's your boy One Take Wonder coming at you with a review how to, don't do. Keep the rubber side down. Twinkle, twinkle.